Welcome to World Numismatic Finds, where hidden treasures from everyday pocket change turn into shocking fortunes. Today, we reveal the top 5 rare quarter-dollar coins of the USA that could make collectors worldwide, especially those of you in the UK. Sit up and pay attention. From the 1973 D mint mark in circulation condition to the 1991 D mint mark in very fine condition, the 1993 P mint mark in fine condition, the 1984 P mint mark in circulation condition, and the 1978 no mint mark with a slightly dirty condition, these quarters may look ordinary at first glance, but don't be fooled. Some of them can fetch far more than their face value in today's market. Whether you're a casual collector or a profit-hungry treasure hunter, these coins hold stories of American history and rare opportunities for hidden wealth. Stay tuned, because what looks like a simple 25 cents could secretly be your next golden discovery. Let's get started up with the 1973 Washington quarter with the Denver mint mark, a coin that has been in circulation for over 5 decades and yet is now making headlines in rare coin markets. So if you thought pocket change had no value, stay tuned, because the numbers will surprise you. The story of the 1973 D quarter begins in an era when the United States was moving through a time of major change. The coin itself carries the timeless design of George Washington on the obverse, or head side, a design that had been in place since 1932. Sculpted by John Flanagan, Washington's portrait was meant to honor the first president on the 200th anniversary of his birth. On the reverse or tail side, you find the powerful American bald eagle with its wings spread, clutching arrows in its talons, symbolizing the nation's strength and readiness. This imagery was more than just art. It represented America's cultural pride and patriotic values during a period of social and political transformation. The weight of the 1973 D quarter comes in at 5.67 grams, struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition over a pure copper core, measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter. While it doesn't have the silver content that older quarters once carried, what makes this coin exciting is not its metal value but its rarity in higher grades. Millions of these quarters were minted in Denver, and most circulated heavily, ending up with scratches, wear, and dirt, just like the one you may have in your own pocket. But in the world of numismatics, condition is king, and this is where things get truly exciting. Key facts reveal that the 1973 D quarter is common in circulation, but when you cross into the upper levels of preservation, coins graded mint state, such as MS65 or higher by top grading services like PCGS and NGC, the value skyrockets. Circulated coins like the one we are discussing today may only trade for a modest amount above face value, usually around $1 to $3 depending on eye appeal, but when you look at the market for certified high-grade examples, the figures turn heads. On eBay, completed auctions have shown collectors paying hundreds of dollars for quarters with exceptional luster and sharp detail. PCGS price guides put the MS65 value of this coin around $800, while in some auction houses, particularly heritage auctions and other specialist sales, exceptional examples have fetched as much as $1,220. That's a massive jump from 25 cents to well over $1,000. All based on grade, rarity, and collector demand. This brings us to the heart of the matter. Rarity is not always about how many coins were made, but about how many have survived in pristine condition. Millions of 1973 D quarters were struck, but think about it. Most went straight into circulation, rattling around in change for decades. That means coins without scratches, wear, or toning are few and far between. For UK audiences, this is just like the appeal of British pre-decimal coins or the hunt for rare 50p designs. You know how ordinary circulation coins suddenly become highly desirable once collectors realize how few high-quality examples are left. The same greedy demand fuels the US quarter market. For today's collectors, the current market value is truly staggering. A circulated 1973 D like ours is still a great find, especially when held onto as part of a complete Washington quarter set. But the real fortune lies in searching for near-gem or gem-quality pieces. On sites like eBay, Heritage, and Great Collections, bidders compete fiercely for high-grade quarters, pushing the values higher each year. Even NGC-certified coins in MS64 and MS65 condition are climbing in value, as more collectors try to secure their place in a finite market. With prices ranging from a few dollars for circulated examples to hundreds and even over $1,000 for certified gems, this coin demonstrates how common change can transform into rare wealth. For collectors, the best advice is simple. Check your change carefully, especially when it comes to coins from the early 1970s. Always look at the mint mark, the condition, and the overall strike. If you believe you found a high-quality piece, it is worth submitting it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading, as their certification adds trust and value in marketplace. And don't forget, sometimes even circulated coins can attract interest if they have unusual toning or error varieties, making them stand out to specialist buyers. In conclusion, the 1973 D quarter is a perfect example of how history, artistry, and condition collide to create real demand in the rare coin world. From a humble 25 cents to auction values of hundreds or even over $1,000, this is the kind of treasure hunt that excites collectors across the US and even in the UK, where coin enthusiasts understand the thrill of discovering a valuable piece in circulation. So next time you handle your change, look closer, because that ordinary Washington quarter might just be a hidden fortune waiting to be uncovered. Stay tuned to World Numismatic Finds for more shocking discoveries, and remember, the coins in your hand today could be worth far more tomorrow. Next up, we're talking about the 1991 D Washington quarter, a coin minted in Denver that many people overlook as pocket change, but that numismatists and savvy collectors know can bring serious profit in the right condition. Now, if you're in the United Kingdom watching this, think of it as discovering a rare £1 or 50p piece in your change that turns out to be worth hundreds of pounds, because that is exactly the type of excitement we're unlocking with this US quarter. The 1991 D quarter belongs to the long-running Washington quarter series, which began back in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1991, the US Mint had produced millions of these coins, but here's the trick. Most of them were struck for circulation, used heavily in everyday trade, and lost their finer details over time. That's why when you find one in very fine or higher condition, the appeal grows dramatically. On the obverse side, we see the bold profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States, facing left, his image symbolizing leadership and American resilience. On the reverse, we find the iconic eagle with wings outstretched, holding arrows of strength and an olive branch of peace, an emblem loaded with cultural meaning and national pride. For UK viewers, this design carries a weight similar to classic British heraldic coinage, where national identity and artistry are fused in metal. When it comes to the specifications, this coin weighs 5.67 grams and is composed of a copper nickel clad, which was standard for quarters in this era. Though it doesn't have silver like earlier issues, the historical and collectible value comes not from the metal but from the rarity of condition and collector demand. The Denver Mint produced over 630 million quarters in 1991, which might sound like an ocean of coins, but finding a pristine survivor today, untouched by decades of circulation, is where the treasure truly lies. Now here's where it gets fascinating for collectors. The key facts reveal that while most circulated examples hold only small premium over face value, coins graded at MS65 can explode in worth. Market sites such as PCGS and NGC show that an MS65 1991 D quarter can command around $250. But that's not the ceiling. Auction records and platforms like eBay have proven that top-end specimens in superb condition, when they come up in competition, have fetched over $700. Yes, some closing bids even pushing $720 depending on eye appeal and collector frenzy. These numbers are real and come from respected auction houses and grading services, showing the coin's investment potential. And this is why smart collectors in the UK are beginning to chase American quarters, especially since the demand for US coins has been surging globally. Rarity, of course, is all about condition. A very fine 1991 D quarter is still desirable because it stands above the majority of heavily worn examples, but the real gold mine lies in uncirculated or mint-state coins. Collectors are hungry for those flawless details, no scratches, no blemishes, full luster. And when multiple bidders lock horns on auctions, values soar. It's not greed, it's opportunity. Imagine picking one up in a small lot, paying pocket change, and then flipping it for hundreds of dollars on the global stage. That's what makes this market electrifying. For collectors, the tips are straightforward yet crucial. First, always check both sides of your 1991 D quarter for signs of sharp detail and minimal wear. Even a coin in very fine condition should retain strong feather lines on the eagle and crisp hair details on Washington. Next, if you believe you have a higher grade example, consider professional grading through services like PCGS or NGC, because a certified MS65 can skyrocket in value and attract global buyers. And lastly, watch the market. Websites like eBay, heritage auctions, and even smaller platforms often show surprising final sales that prove the hunger for this coin is alive and thriving. So in conclusion, the 1991 D Washington quarter may appear to be just another American coin in circulation, but for those with an eye for detail and a taste for numismatic profit, it represents a golden chance. In very fine condition it already stands tall above its peers, but in mint state grades, it transforms into a collector's dream worth hundreds of dollars. UK viewers, don't underestimate the allure of these US treasures. They may look like common pocket change, but the market is hungry, the collectors are waiting, and the values are climbing. Whether you're chasing it for history, art, or the thrill of turning a quarter into a fortune, this 1991 D is a coin you simply cannot ignore. Next up, the United States quarter dollar of 1993 bearing the P mint mark, a coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint that still excites serious collectors worldwide. When we talk about coins like this one, we're not just discussing a simple piece of change, we are entering the realm of hidden wealth, secret cultural heritage, and surprising financial opportunity that can transform the way you look at the loose coins in your pocket. The 1993 P quarter sits within the famous Washington quarter series, a design first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1993, the Washington quarter had already cemented itself as one of America's most iconic coins, serving as both a piece of circulating currency and as a collector's cornerstone. Bearing the profile of Washington on the obverse and the proud heraldic eagle on the reverse, this coin captures not only America's founding values of strength and liberty, but also stands as a bridge between historic and modern designs before the advent of the 50-state quarters program that would later sweep the collecting world. For anyone in the UK or Europe watching this is not just a simple American coin, it is a piece of cultural storytelling in metal form. The weight of this quarter is standard for the copper-nickel-clad issues of the era, coming in at 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Though mass-produced for everyday transactions, these coins carry a distinctive historical aura. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark, produced hundreds of millions of these in 1993, yet only a tiny fraction survive today in conditions that thrill collectors. When we consider rarity, it's not just about mintage, it's about condition. A 1993 quarter in fine circulated condition may only fetch a modest value, but as we climb the ladder toward higher grade examples certified by the major grading services such as PCGS and NGC, the prices leap into a whole new realm that collectors with sharp eyes and sharper instincts can take advantage of. This is where the greedy outlook comes into play. While the average person might see a coin worth 25 cents, the savvy collector or investor sees the opportunity for extraordinary returns. For instance, auction sites like eBay frequently show heightened interest in high-grade examples of this very coin, with some listed at astonishing figures as collectors scramble to secure their own piece. PCGS has documented sales of MS65 graded 1993 P quarters reaching the $450 mark, while NGC and other coin auction houses have recorded premium sales touching the $670 range, depending on eye appeal, strike sharpness, and collector demand at the moment of sale. This kind of disparity between face value and collector value is what makes numismatics such a thrilling and, dare I say, addictive pursuit. It's the very definition of hidden treasure. Imagine pulling out what looks like just another quarter, only to realize it could rival the value of a luxury weekend getaway or even a high-end gadget. Collectors are drawn not only to the rarity but also to the cultural and historical values embedded in the coin. Owning a 1993 P quarter in pristine condition is like holding a piece of early 1990s America, an era defined by economic growth, cultural shifts, and technological innovation. And while fine condition examples, like the one we're discussing today, are more accessible, they still represent a stepping stone toward understanding the market. For collectors in the UK, where American coinage has a certain exotic appeal, this coin represents an opportunity to invest across borders in a way that combines history, artistry, and wealth creation. For those interested in pursuing coins like the 1993 P quarter, the tips are straightforward but powerful. Always look closely at condition. Coins in higher mint state grades command the real premiums. Seek out certified examples from PCGS, NGC, or ANAX to ensure authenticity and proper grading. And keep a close eye on online markets such as eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections, where sudden spikes in demand can make values soar seemingly overnight. Collectors with patience and a keen sense for timing often find that coins like this one can turn into serious profit generators, especially when high-grade survivors are tucked away in collections that are later liquidated. In conclusion, the 1993 P quarter dollar in fine condition may begin as a modest find, but it is a coin that demonstrates the power of numismatics to surprise and delight those who pay attention. It carries with it the cultural weight of George Washington's legacy, the craftsmanship of the Philadelphia Mint, and the thrilling possibility of turning a 25-cent piece into a treasure worth hundreds of dollars. For collectors in the UK and beyond, this is an irresistible opportunity, a chance to turn small change into real wealth and to hold in your hands a piece of American history that is both beautiful and profitable. So the next time you come across an unassuming 1993 quarter, don't overlook it. Instead, see it for what it could be, a hidden fortune, a cultural artifact, and a collector's dream. Next up, the spotlight is on the 1984 quarter dollar of the United States with the Philadelphia P mint mark, a coin that holds both historical weight and strong financial attraction in today's rare coin market. The 1984 P quarter was minted in Philadelphia at a time when America was experiencing important economic and cultural changes. President Ronald Reagan was in office, technology was advancing, and the United States Mint was still producing quarters in their traditional copper-nickel-clad composition. On the obverse, as always, you see the distinguished bust of George Washington, a symbol of leadership and independence, while the reverse proudly features the heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, representing American strength and unity. This design had already become iconic worldwide, recognized not just in America but also overseas, where collectors, especially in the United Kingdom, often chase down these pieces as symbols of American numismatic heritage. Now, let's talk cultural and historical values. Quarters from this period represent more than pocket change. They are snapshots of America's everyday life during the 1980s, a decade of prosperity, cultural transformation, and global influence. Owning one of these coins is like holding a piece of history, a coin that once jingled in the pockets of American citizens at a time when the Cold War was cooling down and American pop culture was taking the world by storm. That sense of nostalgia, combined with scarcity in higher grades, creates the real demand for coins like the 1984 P quarter today. In terms of technical details, the 1984 P quarter weighs in at 5.67 grams and is struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition over a pure copper core. It has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a reeded edge, giving it that familiar look and feel of U.S. quarters we all recognize. While millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, very few survive in truly high-grade condition because these coins saw heavy circulation across America. This brings us to the key facts about the rarity and condition. While the 1984 P quarter is common in well-worn, circulated form, collectors are hungry for examples in top condition, especially those graded at Mint State 65 or higher by reputable services such as PCGS, NGC, and ANAX. According to recent market activity, including major auction houses and platforms like eBay, the price difference between a circulated example and a high-grade gem is astonishing. In circulated condition, a 1984 P quarter may only fetch a modest premium over face value. However, at the MS65 level, collectors are paying around $150, and in certain rare cases where flawless, high-quality examples are graded and auctioned, values have shot up dramatically, with prices recorded as high as $600. That's right, what might appear to be a simple pocket change coin has the potential to multiply its worth hundreds of times when preserved in pristine condition. Now, when we talk about the collector demand, it's not just about numbers, it's about psychology. Collectors in the United States and in Europe, especially the UK, are chasing coins like this not because they are flashy, but because they represent real, tangible value that can climb year after year. American quarters are especially hot in UK markets because they symbolize the global influence of US culture, and UK buyers see them as safe, long-term investments. The fact that the 1984 P quarter is tough to find in untouched condition means that competition is fierce when one does come up for sale, creating that greedy demand collectors love to see. For today's current market value, let's break it down in practical terms. A circulated 1984 P quarter may not make you rich overnight, but it remains a coin worth keeping for its cultural and historical meaning. But if you are lucky enough to own or discover an MS65 or better, the market is hot, with values starting at $150 and climbing as high as $600 or even beyond in special auctions. The most recent sales through platforms like eBay confirm that collectors are willing to bid aggressively for these coins, while the official population reports from grading companies such as PCGS and NGC prove just how few of these gems exist. For collectors watching right now, my tip is simple. Don't overlook coins from the 1980s. Many people assume they're too modern to be worth much, but in reality, this is the sweet spot where rarity meets demand. Always check your pocket change and inherited coin jars, because gems from 1984 can and do appear unexpectedly. If you find one in excellent condition, don't hesitate to send it off to a grading service. The small investment in grading can unlock huge rewards, especially in an international market where UK and European buyers are more than happy to pay top dollar for certified, high-grade American quarters. In conclusion, the 1984 P quarter may have been born as ordinary circulation currency, but today, it's a treasure hiding in plain sight. With its strong cultural and historical value, iconic design, and explosive potential in top condition, this is one of those coins that proves the saying true. The right coin in the right condition can change everything. From $150 at mint state 65 to $600 in top-level auctions, the story of this coin is one of hidden wealth waiting to be uncovered. So, before you spend that quarter or toss it aside, remember, you might just be holding a small fortune in your hand. Next up, the 1978 quarter dollar from the Philadelphia Mint, better known as the no mint mark coin. Even if your coin looks a little dirty, a little aged from circulation, the value that hides beneath the surface can truly shock you. And what's even more fascinating is how this American coin has gained international interest, especially among UK collectors who are drawn to the high demand and profit potential. To understand why this coin matters, let's step back into history. The 1978 Washington quarter was minted in the years leading up to a new era in American coinage, before the launch of the 50-state quarters program that exploded collecting in the late 1990s. This coin features George Washington on the obverse, a design that had already become iconic in U.S. culture since its introduction in 1932. On the reverse, we see the bold eagle with outstretched wings, a powerful symbol of American freedom and strength. Collectors in the UK and across Europe are not just after the design but also the story, owning a piece of American history that reflects the country's heritage at a time of transition. The cultural and historical values of this coin cannot be ignored. For Americans, it was pocket change, but for the global numismatic community, including savvy collectors in the UK, it represents a slice of the Cold War era, a time when America projected its influence across the world. Coins like this serve as cultural bridges, carrying both patriotic symbolism and financial opportunity. Now, let's talk specifics. The 1978 Washington quarter without a mint mark weighs 5.67 grams, made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. This is standard for quarters of that era, but what makes yours potentially extraordinary is not just the weight or the metal. It's the rarity of condition and collector demand that drives the market higher every year. Key facts about the 1978 no mint mark coin start with the fact that while millions were produced, very few have survived in top quality. Circulated pieces, especially those with dirt and wear, like the one you may have in your pocket or inherited from a collection, can still draw attention. However, if we step into the world of higher grading, that's where the numbers truly take off. A coin graded at mint state 65 by PCGS or NGC, two of the most trusted grading services in the world, can bring jaw-dropping results. Records show that prices have reached as high as $550 for MS65 examples, and in certain auctions and rare coin markets, we've seen collectors push beyond that, with some sales hitting $700 for premium examples listed on eBay and other online platforms. When you look at market data from eBay completed sales, Heritage Auctions, PCGS Price Guide, and NGC Coin Explorer, you can see this steady trend of collectors willing to pay top dollar for what seems like an ordinary quarter. For UK viewers, this is where the greedy appeal really hits. Imagine finding a coin that cost only 25 cents, now trading for hundreds of dollars across multiple markets. That's the type of profit story that excites collectors everywhere. Rarity and condition always go hand in hand. While dirty or circulated coins from 1978 may not hit the hundreds, they are still desirable for beginners or those filling collection slots. But if you're lucky enough to come across a cleaner, sharper strike, perhaps tucked away in an old stash, then sending it off for grading could be one of the smartest investment moves you'll make. The dirty condition might make your coin look ordinary now, but underneath that layer of grime, there may be a collectible worth far more than its face value. So what does this mean for collectors today? It means opportunity. UK collectors are snapping up American coins not just for their cultural symbolism but for the high resale value in the global market. If you're holding a 1978 quarter without a mint mark, especially in better grades, you're sitting on a piece that's in growing demand. And when you cross-check values across PCGS, NGC, Heritage Auctions, and the eBay marketplace, the trend is clear. This coin has a solid market with a greedy edge of competition, and the best specimens are being hunted down quickly. For tips, I always recommend that collectors in the UK and elsewhere look carefully at their loose change, coin jars, or inherited collections. Even coins in dirty condition should not be overlooked. Sometimes a light professional cleaning and proper grading can change everything. Always check the rims, the details of Washington's hair, and the eagle's feathers, because sharpness in those areas can mean the difference between a small premium and a life-changing profit. In conclusion, the 1978 no-mint mark Washington quarter is far more than just another old coin. It's a link to American history, a symbol of strength, and for savvy collectors around the world, especially in the UK market, it's a chance to turn a tiny piece of metal into hundreds of dollars in profit. With values recorded between $550 and $700 in Mint State 65 across top auction houses and online platforms, this is not a coin to pass by. Keep your eyes open, dig into your change, and remember, the next fortune could be hiding in the most unexpected place. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned to World Numismatic Finds for more rare and valuable coin discoveries from around the world.